Hi, I'm Jules Mitchell. Welcome to the Huffington Post Thrive series. Today I've got Anna and Christine with me, and today's little short sequence is called hip flexibility. We're going to do a different take on the typical pigeon pose that is, everybody's classic hip opener. I'm using that in air quotes, but we're going to sort of investigate how to dive into the deeper hip muscles. So I'm going to have them both lay down onto their backs. And at home, you should do this as well. If you've never done the pose, you might want to watch. Otherwise, go ahead and lie down on your back and just join us. So you're going to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. You're going to take your right ankle and you're going to cross it over your left knee. Great. Try to keep your spine from, doing much of the pose. So a lot of times if you move the spine around a lot, you're actually not using your hips. So it's not hip flexibility, then it would be spine flexibility. So just be careful about that. And then go ahead and reach your right hand through the circle that you've created between your legs. Take your left hand, reach it around. You're going to clasp either behind the thigh or around the shin, whichever is more comfortable for you. If your head lifts off the ground, like Anna's does a little bit, you're welcome to put some support underneath it so that you can be a little bit more comfortable, especially if your shoulders are lifting. So I'm just going to give Anna a little bit of support there. Is that okay? Great. So typical instruction here is that you just kind of pull on that leg to get a nice stretch in the outer right hip, right? That's kind of what you guys feel. But unfortunately, this stretch doesn't get actually into the deeper hip muscles as much as we would like it to. It's really much more of a superficial stretch. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you contract, if you know where your rotators are, your hip, piriformis and other hip rotators. If you don't, it's fine. Just go deep into the pelvis and contract that muscle. It's almost like you're trying to take your legs and push yourself out of the pose instead of relaxing and pulling yourself into the pose. Can you guys feel that? And now you're contracting the deeper hip muscles at this sort of stretched position. So now you're actually really targeting your hips. This is good for hip flexibility. The passive version's not bad, but this will get you where you want to go just a little bit faster. Good. Go ahead and relax now. Put the foot down, put the right foot down, pause. Before we do the other side, I just really want to, again, draw your attention to your spine. When you cross your left ankle over your right knee, see if you can sort of keep the weight on the back of your pelvis even. So a lot of times we just use momentum and throw our leg over there. Much harder, right? Great. And then go ahead and put your left hand through that circle, draw your right leg up, clasp wherever you'd like. Just first relax into the pose, give yourself just a gentle little stretch so you're pushing your end range of motion, and then from there, start to really contract the deep left hip muscles. So it's like you're trying to move your left leg away. Good, and you can sustain that for 30 seconds or so probably before you start to get tired. I encourage you to do it repeatedly. So once the muscles fatigue, relax, give it a little time to recover, and then contract again. So you can stay here for up to about 2 minutes. That's probably what I would recommend. Nice. And then go ahead and relax, and go ahead and come down, put the right foot down, or left foot down, sorry. Just rest here for a moment. Notice the difference in your hips from just before the stretch to now. And I just want to say, in most yoga classes, a very popular pose is the single pigeon. Will you guys turn around and demonstrate that real quick? I'll get a bolster. So it usually comes from downward dog. And I think in this pose, it's actually very difficult to stay in that contracted position because the load is so different. Your body weight is quite heavy. So go ahead and come on up, Christine. So I always prefer to put a bolster underneath you and to stay very active in the pose. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a blanket, which I'm going to do right here for Anna. Come on up. Good. Lift a little higher because I want to get this under the back leg. Back leg. Yes. There we go. And don't go all the way down. Stay upright, please. Stay upright, and be active in the pose. Can you contract that same hip muscle? So again, we tend to just kind of sink over our knee and put our body weight on our knee. It's not really the best scenario. Doesn't really focus on the hips as much. If you can do the contraction in this position, again, you'll get where you want to go faster. I'm going to have you guys go to downward dog and switch sides. So if you're at home, go ahead and grab any prop that you have available, a pillow, a blanket, make it as high as you need to so that you're supported, and really work on the active versions of these poses. Eventually, the passive ones will be a lot easier, and there will be greater range of motion. Thanks for tuning in to your daily dose of yoga. We'll see you here next week or on yourdiet.com.